Hello everyone, my name is Amrish Yadav and you can further read about me in the slide. Today I will talk about the 125 days strategy because our prelims is on 5th of June 2022. So we are left with 138 days and we will effectively utilize up to 125 days. We can utilize more than that as well, but for the safe side I have assumed that we can utilize 125 days at least. So this strategy will be an overview and the macroscopic perspective with little bit microscopic as well. So further looking at the strategy, we will have at least 1000 hours to 1200 hours in those 125 days, so we can utilize this much time. Before starting anything else, we first of all we have to do two things. First is the syllabus. Syllabus is very important. Looking at the syllabus, prelim syllabus and the main syllabus as well, because main syllabus will give you the detailed topics. For example, if I take the topics of Constitution of India, which is very important for prelims, so it talks about the historical underpinnings. So some features can be asked from that. The evolution, the amendments, these are written in the mains detailed syllabus. So we have to look at the prelim syllabus as well as the mains detailed syllabus. Like if I talk about the social justice, so there are welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by center and the states. So these schemes can be asked anytime. And then there are topics related to the health, education and the human resources, again poverty and the hunger. So again these can be asked in prelims as well. So looking at the detailed syllabus, it will give you a broader overview that what kind of topics are being asked, and then to make it more directional, we have to look at the previous year questions of prelims, not mains, of prelims, because that would give you the nuances and the small details on which UPSC focus. So and it is very important, just give 2-3 days initially to look at the questions, type of question, that how UPSC is manipulating the data and how it is tweaking the information, and where it can manipulate things. Like it many times it uses the adjectives like drastically, significantly, and tweaks in the figures like numbers, like increasing number of zeros and all. So you will have the little bit overview of how the questions are being asked and which are the topics as well. Don't worry, we will provide you a very broader perspective of the topics in due course of the time. But before that, this is a small task you have to do, because until you will not do, you will not get the hang of UPSC type of questions. And then there would be you will look here and there for the type of questions being asked, and you will be less directional. So just do this exercise. This is very important. Now we can look at the number of days in 3 sections, like first 40 days, then next 40 days, and then next 45 days. First 40 days will cover the core and the static syllabus, which is very important. Again, generally people do not focus much on the core. They think that UPSC prelims is all about the current affairs. No, it is not. And second aspect is the current affair. Yes, it is important, so we have to look at the current affairs, and it is more important for mains as well. So current affairs we anyway have to study. Now we will study with the more prelims focus. Later we will study with more mains focus. Now our task is to study the current affair with the orientation of prelims. The next aspect is the revision, and which is again very important. If we do the 80 days work and will not revise, then you will not be able to reproduce the information which you have studied. So it is very important to revise, and that too 3 times, 1, 2 and 3. I will talk about this, how to do that in this less time. And then obviously we are having less time, so we have to follow the Pareto Principle. That tells that we will do the 20% of work and we will produce the 80% of the outcome. So this is the overview of Pareto Principle. It is enough for our understanding that we will focus on the very important aspect, and we have to leave some part of the syllabus. We have to give the least preference to some topics. We cannot cover all of the syllabus in this small time, so we have to follow this Pareto Principle. And then now if I divide the hours, that it will roughly will look like this. You can read about this on this slide. I will come to it after the further detailing, because this is a microscopic view. First let me give you the detail of 40 days. First 40 days, that is the static part. So first 40 days we will cover the subject like polity, modern and like history, modern, ancient and medieval, and then the economy, and then geography, environment, science and tech, and schemes and other aspect, like other aspects such as security, international relationships, and then the governance. So schemes will cover all of those things. So we have decided I have divided the time as we will cover first 10 days for polity, then next 10 days for history, which is very important for prelims, and then again economy is very important. Geography we can give a little less time because it is not being asked in that proportion, but we have to give good enough time, that is 4 days are I think in good enough. And then environment, which is again very important, and then science and tech, schemes, security, and then the governance. All of these things can be covered in last 4 days of this chunk. So it will have the 40 days, and don't worry if you are not able to cover, then next phase you can utilize time effectively by incorporating 1 or 2 subject in next phase. So in next phase, which is to focus on current affair. So current affair we will cover in 15 days the entire 1 and 1.5 years, up to 1.5 years of the current affair in 15 days. So we can focus on the current affair magazines that you definitely been studying, the monthly magazines, or you would be following the daily current affairs, whatever you were writing or you were following. You can revise that, or you can revise with PT 365, because PT 365 is a comprehensive document, and we can rely on that. It produces the desired result if we are able to revise it properly. So and basically we have to focus on international relations, economics, international relations in the sense that what kind of treaties being signed, is there any groupings like G20 meeting or the SEO, BRICS, or anything else, anything different declaration has been signed or something like that. The small one or two detail, not very detailed study about like what is happening between India and China. It's not like that. Just we have to read the keywords. And then the schemes which are of 1.5 to 2 years. Schemes are very important. Most of the time it is being asked. Science and tech aspect, we have to focus on the core sciences, and then here and there some indigenous development by the scientists, so especially related to the space, and then the computer, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and the cyber is very important. So this is we have to cover. Then environment current affair, because nowadays environment is a very hot topic, climate change and global warming related issues. So these can be very much, so now on a daily basis there are some news related to the disasters and the very frequent erratic events. So we'll look at this aspect through the PT365. And then the themes are very important. Themes like folk arts, dance, music, indexes, national parks, military exercises. So these we'll cover. So you can look at all of those things. I will make a separate video on the topics which are very important for prelims. So how to go about, like which topic we must focus, like these themes. So I will talk about that in coming videos. And then the social aspect, such as the government initiative. So we'll cover all of these things in 15 days. We'll take 1 to 2 days for a entire year magazine of a particular subject. It should not take much time, because you have already read about these magazines on a daily basis, because you are reading the newspaper. I am assuming that you are reading the newspaper on a daily basis for 1 hour a day. If not, then also it can be covered, but reading a newspaper is very important. We cannot neglect that. Entire span of 125 days, you can leave last 15 days. Otherwise you have to read the newspaper for almost 100 days. So in that period, you cannot leave the reading of newspaper. And then the next phase, which is last. So we have covered the 15 days, and then the next 25 days, which is also focusing on the current affair. So we have studied 15 days current affair. Now we will start to give the test papers. So this will cover the rest current affair, because many times the test papers also give lot of information. So this test papers will also cover some current aspect, and we will have the first revision of our core subject. Like we have whatever we have studied in first 40 days, we'll have this first revision. And then 1 hour newspaper is still going on, that we cannot leave. So next phase will be the last 45 days. Last 45 days we will divide as 25 days and last 20 days. 25 days will cover the test papers again, and then revision 1 of the current aspect which we have studied, including the test papers. Either we can do the revision of test papers in these 5 hours, because these 5 hours include the analysis. Basically in these 5 hours of test, we will give 2 hours to test, 1 hour for the analysis, and 2 hours for reflection, like what we have given wrong and what we are missing, which kind of information we are lacking. We can note down all of those important aspects, and we can revise the yesterday's test in that time. So because today itself revision will not give you the desired outcome, you should revise after one day at least. So that can be done in this 5 hours. And then again the revision of the first revision of current affair in next 25 days, and again that same pattern, 4 hours plus 1 hour. So now last 20 days, which are almost exam is on our head, and we have to be very disciplined and focused. Here the important aspects are to keep your health intact, and then revision is very important. Or here we'll only do the revision, nothing new study, no new study, just revision. Write tests daily, give 5 hours to tests, like whichever test is left, because till now you must have been doing and you must have had done the almost 50 tests including the CSET papers. So whichever test you have left, you would do here in last 20 days, and then revision as we are doing earlier. So last 20 days will be divided into 10 and 10 days. So again giving the test and second revision, which we can divide 3 hours for static part and 3 hours for current affair. Next 10 days again the 5, but this time we will give the UPSC previous year questions, because if we will give previous year question paper just before the exam, we will have the mindset of UPSC. So this is very important, along with the all of the analysis and reflection and the revision part. And then the third revision, which is again 3 hours for core and 3 hours for current affair. Here last 20 days we will not read the newspaper. We can have some overview, otherwise not detailed reading of the newspaper required, because the paper does not cover the immediate current affair, because obvious reasons it is printed way before the, I think 1 month before at least, but who knows. But because effectively based on the 80-20 principle, we can neglect this much of the time. So this is the strategy of 125 days. You can make your own strategy based on this, but because it is a very I would say broad overview, you can have some cue. And second aspect is that last 60 out of 80 days we have to give tests. So at including CSET, we have to give 50 to 60 tests, which are very important. And for further detailing, you can comment, like if you want how to cover the current affair and then how to cover the static syllabus. Is it enough to giving 10 days to polity? Because I have already said that you cannot cover entire syllabus in 125 days. So we have to follow the 80-20 principle, and definitely we will be able to cover all of these aspects and revise well. And hopefully this will help you and at least channelize your way of preparation, and you should make definitely own strategy. You can take help from this. And so thank you very much for giving your time, and definitely it will help you. Thank you.